Coach, based on your comments following Sunday's game, I'm assuming we should have expected this kind of practice today?
We just practiced specifically what I didn't like, one from the last game, but what I saw slowly creeping in over the course of the trip. So we're not happy about our trip. There was parts of it that were good, but it was tough to get everything good together at the same time. And we don't want things to slip away. You know, we have an identity, and when we get we drift away from it, it doesn't work out for us. And so we don't want it to drift further.
All battle and compete drills today?
Yeah. I felt our last. I thought in LA, the score doesn't indicate the game. But I didn't like our third period push. I thought our second period was outstanding. You know, we had the puck the whole period, and but we didn't do the job in the last seconds where, you know, it's easy to manage that. Normally we do. We keep it at one. The guys understand that we're taking over. And we got lots of hope for the third period. Instead, you know, we give something we shouldn't give. And then after that, I think that the fact that we were deflated because of that, our push was gone. So I think that's wrong. That's not us. And then the other three periods against Anaheim, it was just a no-show. So I think that's unacceptable for us. We want to hold high standards. We have all year long, and that's why we were having success. And that can't slip away. And we want our identity back, and that's hard, tight defense, and a much better shooting mentality on the other side.
Do you think that's why you have to put your foot down in practice the way you did today?
You always put your foot down as a coach. You do it in different ways. Sometimes you pull back, which I have done this year. Sometimes you inject, like I have to do today. It's my job to make sure the standards don't go down. And the players realize that. The leaders realize that. And, you know, our compete level wasn't good enough. And that's just unacceptable. Like, you can make some mistakes. You have parts of games. There is another team that's playing well. There's another team that wants to win. It's the NHL. You're not alone on the ice. But when our compete level's not there, when we're not first on puck on purpose, that's something we can't accept of ourselves. And we're a much harder team to play against than we showed the last game with the last 4 periods. And that's not something you just ask for. When you see it slip away, you got to get back in practice and do it, and you do it in practice, you're going to do it in the games.
So they just on Craig Anderson's situation?
Hasn't changed. We're not expecting him back for a little while now.
Are you anticipating maybe after the Christmas break, or?
I'd love to tell you. We don't. We're not. You know. It depends so much on how things are going and what needs to be done on the personal side. So I'd love to comment, but
when you have a practice like that, Coach, do you worry at all about egos and maybe putting players on the spot, making them feel bad? Do you worry about the fragility maybe of their egos?
If we're that fragile, we don't deserve to be in the playoffs. And I believe that we're a team that can acquire a much better work ethic than we had last game because we had it before. So if you only go little taps in the back and good job when it's not a good job, or you're lying to yourself, you're lying to the people around you, and that's not what we want to do. We want to make sure that the players know what's what. When it's great, it's great. When it's average, it's average. When it's bad, it's bad. And when we talk about it and we get response, great. When we talk about it and we don't get response, then we have to make sure that we have to go through the actions on the ice. And I've played 20 years. I've coached 20 years now. That's something that hasn't changed in 40 years that I've seen. So it's just the way it is. And it's not a question of pinpointing somebody in particular. It's make sure that everybody is on the same page, which we weren't the last little while. So we got to make sure we're on the same page. So it's not about one individual. It's about an entire group, and our group will be better. I know it.
Do you like what you're seeing from Clark McCarthy's progression?
Well, it's right on target in terms of what he's talked about in terms of the process to where we want to get him playing. So up to now, I mean, there's no setbacks. It's progressing the way him and the medical staff have put the plan forward, and now we're going according to plan. So we'll see. If it continues like that, it's great news. I mean, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Excuse me. What kind of lineup are you looking at tomorrow, Coach? An update on Chris Weidman and Ben Harper coming in, perhaps?
Yeah. Regardless, we'll see if Wides can go tomorrow. But regardless if he's in or out, Harper will be in. He's apparently been doing a terrific job down there, really progressing well, and just love to get a look at him. I think England gave us some good hockey. He's a youngster, and he might be playing tomorrow also if Weidman can't play. But we're going to go for sure Harper in, give him a look, give him something he deserves, and for me, it gives me a chance to see him play. I think up to now we've brought up quite a few guys, and it's great for me to see them play in different circumstances. Training camp is one thing, rookie camp is one thing, but NHL games are a whole different ball game, and it's great to see how our guys are doing once they get up here, and I think it's a great opportunity for me to see him play, and it's mainly because he deserves it. So,
Lazar in tomorrow?
Yeah.
Condon tomorrow?
Condon tomorrow, yes.
Yeah, Cody Ceci played a career high 28 minutes and change against Anaheim. Is he somebody who, sometimes I know guys struggle when they're forced to play that amount of time? Did you think that with more ice time on that road trip that Cody Ceci's game?
No, well, what happened if you followed our team is we kind of pulled him out of the power play, and not because he couldn't do the job. It's just because we need him badly in other places, penalty kill and 5-on-5. I thought for breakouts and transition, he's been terrific for us. And we're trying to accelerate the process with him since day one. And we're giving him big minutes, we're giving him big responsibilities because we think he can manage it. And he's still young, but he's done a very good job. And, what he is, he's a horse. And what I mean by that, it's kind of defining a type of player, a guy who's got tremendous shape, great acceleration, can get himself out of trouble with the puck. And if you look at our trip in our last games, we've had injuries, we've had guys that had to compensate for either the fact that we got young guys that we can't expose, or guys are tired and so on. So a guy like Cease has got tons of energy, and if you look at games, because we had a lot of PKs to kill, moments where it's time to defend and all that, that's why he's had a lot of ice time, and we save some energy with some other guys. Sometimes we're trailing. We know we'll need it later. We'll need him on a power play and so on. So we just try to manage the minutes. But yes, we are giving Cecile a lot of minutes because we feel that the organization is going to grow much faster when young guys like that are asked to play a big part, and he's ready to take it. Maybe a year before, 2 years before, you can't ask that of him. I think we'd sink him, really. I think now he's getting all the minutes and the confidence from us to be able to continue improving.
Your penalty kill was so good for 6-7 weeks, and then is there something that you saw a pattern in these 2 games in California where there's something troubling specifically, or is this just sometimes it's the ebbs and flows of the season?
I will be very honest with you. There are some parts that were hits our guy, falls right on their guy's stick, hits our goaltender, goes up in the air, and it's a normal shot and then goes in. Like those things. You can't practice against that. But we feel that on this trip, just like the 5-on-5 game, we were less aggressive at our blue line, preventing them from coming in. And 2, we were not as good shot blocking, whether it's 5-on-5 or penalty kill. We weren't as good in being in the lanes as we had been before. So I would say those are the 2 things that we need to improve, but at the same time there are goals in there that it just happened, and you can practice all you want, but if it pops out and it just ends up on the guy's stick there, then there's not much you can do about it. So it's a mix of both, but we want to focus on what we can control.